October 2nd legislative session. This meeting is now called to order. We'll begin with the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Trustee Bazemore? Trustee Levin?
Here.
Trustee Herrera? Trustee Quesada?
Present.
Mayor Garrity?
Present.
Moving on to mayor's and trustees' announcements.
Does anyone have announcements this week?
Nope.
Huh? Really? Okay, well, I have a few. I will remind folks that later this month, now it's October, so later this month, on October 24th, will be the Ossining Historical Society 88th anniversary dinner and silent auction. It's happening at the Briarcliff Manor. If you're interested in getting tickets, you must get them in advance. You can do that by phone at 914-941-0001. Best phone number in Ossining. And order them by phone. Reservations are limited. They will not be collecting checks at the door. Please order your tickets by October 14th. I also want to remind folks that early voting is going to be starting in October. For the first time ever, New York State has early voting. It starts 10 days before Election Day. So on October 26th, that's a Saturday. That Saturday and Sunday, if you are a voter in Ossining, you can go right to the community center. Regardless of what your regular polling place is, during early voting, all early voting will take place for 9 days between October 26th and November 3rd at the Ossining Community Center. Then on Monday, November 4th, is the one day you actually cannot vote. But don't worry, because go to your regular polling place like you would any other year if you haven't voted during early voting on Tuesday, November 5th, and vote. You can vote at your regular polling place at the usual 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. The early voting times vary. The weekends are 12 to 5. Remember, this is the community center. The weekends, the 26th and 27th of October and 2nd and 3rd of November, voting is 12 to 5. Monday, Wednesday, Friday is sort of the early shift. It's 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. voting. And then Tuesday and Thursday, for some reason, they decided that on Halloween, that would be one of the nights that we have late voting, which is 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. All of that is taking place at the community center. And then, as I said, Election Day, Tuesday, November 5th, is at your usual polling place, wherever that is in Ossining. There are a number of activities, events coming up in the community. One of them is this weekend, Saturday, October 5th. If you are somebody who loves to go tag sale shopping, and I know there are a lot of folks who do, you can go to greenossining.org and find out all the locations around the community where folks will be having tag sales as part of the community-wide Green Ossining tag sale happening this Saturday, October. Very much want to have it on Saturday if at all possible. But you can learn more at greenossining.org. Thank you very much to the Ossining Padres Hispanos for a really wonderful event this past Sunday with lots of music and delicious food and dancing, and a number of us were there, and I hope you got a chance to check it out. I see somebody else who's going to make an announcement about an upcoming event, so I won't get involved in that, but you can right now get your Forest of Fears tickets online. Just go ahead and do a search for Forest of Fears. It's happening 2 weekends in October, 2 Fridays and Saturdays, the 18th and 19th. And the 25th and 26th. Alrighty. I do also want to give a big thank you to Westchester County. County Legislator Catherine Borgia organized for us a meeting last night at the Ossining Public Library. Norma Drummond present to us about the 2020 census. It was not being videotaped, so I captured a bunch of it on video, which you're now going to start seeing. I'm going to put it out in little snippets of information. I'm also going to ask her for the PowerPoint that she shared with us for folks, and we'll be linking it to our website, which will be continuing to be an expanding resource of information for folks about the upcoming census. There's a lot of information that can be reassuring to people who have questions and concerns about confidentiality. There's also a lot of information about why it's such an incredibly important thing for us to do well, to have as accurate account as possible, both for our accurate representation in government as well as for appropriate funding, which comes from a number of sources through the federal government. So we will be talking about that a lot over the next 6 months. As of last night, it was 183 days until Census Day, which is April 1st of 2020. But the most of us this year, one of the big differences in 2020 versus all of the previous censuses, I don't know what the Latin term for plural of census is, but
That'd probably be sensi, right? With an I?
in the past it was usually done by mail or an enumerator person would come to your house and count you. Now you're going to be given many invitations to do it online, and the expectation is that most people will do it online, and if you get it done online, then nobody has to come to your house, and they're hoping that that's that the vast majority of people do. But we're going to be doing a major education effort from now through next March when this gets underway, and then it will be done by the middle of the summer. So it's going to be all hands on deck for community organizations helping to get the word out on that. So thank you very much to Legislator Borgia for bringing that meeting to us, and for Commissioner Drummond for sharing so much information with us and helping us delve into some more questions about exactly what that means for our community so we can do it as effectively as possible. The Ossining Counts Committee, which is our local complete count committee, we've met sort of unofficially and emailed and talked about things, but is now going to be getting underway more in earnest, and we'll have more information for you as that unfolds. Madam Clerk.
Moving on to administrative reports. Corporation Counsel Stuart Kahan.
Thank you, Martha. Good evening, Mayor, members of the board. Last evening there was let's call it a spirited meeting of our Environmental Advisory Council, where they were discussing, which will be their upcoming annual report to this board later this month. And they are very active, very involved, and very knowledgeable, I want to stress, which is really critical. The trustee Levin was there, and I just remembered just before the meeting that there was a meeting, and I realized I needed to be there since I had the key. So it was good that I showed up. Monday night is a meeting of the Historic Preservation Commission, and there are 2 applications on that evening for projects that are in the Main Street Historic District. And if anyone is interested, they should come to the meeting. Tonight, Adam Markovics, who is the chair, and Dana White, who is both village historian and a member, are both at the Warden's House, which is down at Hudson Point, because there is some thought about possibly having the Warden's House designated as a local historic building. So they are talking with members of the Homeowners Association this evening, and we'll see where that project goes from there.
Excellent.
There is a zoning board meeting on as I look at my calendar, the 15th of this month. So we have another meeting here before we go to the zoning board. It is another busy meeting that night. So again, if folks are interested, please come by. One thing about notification with regard to meetings, and I know there's been some discussion before this board as to ways of improving notice. The best thing that I can tell folks right now, if they want to know if a particular meeting is on or a particular project is on, go to the village's website, check on either the zoning board of appeals or the planning board. They can check on agendas and they'll see what items are on there. If they have a question, they can also call the planning department, speak with Jamie Kane over there, because we do get a number of inquiries from folks who say, well, it was on 2 months ago, but I don't know if it's on again. So if they check the agendas or they call the planning board, they will get such information, and they're always invited to come to the meetings. The last planning board meeting, we had a lot of folks with regard to a particular project that is proposed on Brandreth Street, and they came down and spoke, and were given the opportunity by the planning board chair to express their concerns. So anyone who's interested for any of those projects, please come down, and we'll be happy to hear you. Thank you.
I believe people can also, on our email subscriptions, you can subscribe to the Land Use Board agendas. So if you're someone who regularly has an interest or is anticipating having an interest in particular projects that are coming before any of the land use boards, you can go to the email subscriptions on the village website and subscribe to those land use boards agendas and for the village board of trustees meeting.
I just, we talked in the AC, also that there is, 2 alternate openings and 1. Did you mention, did I miss it, the day to apply for all of the committees and
Has
all of
passed.
the boards? Right, so we're not accepting any more applications.
No, but not at this time. We have
Okay.
many. It's been open for a number of months and we've had a really terrific response. And that's
Okay.
one of the things we'll be discussing later tonight in exec.
Police Chief Kevin Sylvester.
Good evening. Almost missed the order there. So a number of things going on with the police department. Over the past week or two, I've notified the board, and it's good for the public to know, we've done some messaging on this, a couple of arrests that have been made. We did have an arrest in what's commonly referred to as granny scams, where folks are sending cash payments to people that purport to be either the IRS or some other federal agency or a person who is involved in law enforcement. I'm proud of the work that our detectives did in cutting off some of those packages and catching people actually picking them up, thereby recovering nearly $8,000 and working that money back to the people that it belongs to. Second to that, within a few days, we had an arrest for a person cashing fraudulent checks at a local bank. First, our main priority is always people being safe. We encourage people to not send cash to anybody for pretty much any reason ever. The IRS will not contact you by phone, and they will not ask you to send packages by FedEx. They will not ask you to send Western Union or any other money wire for tax payments. So if it seems like it's not right, it's probably not. And second to that, if people aren't sure and you have one of these calls, they can always call us to see if we can help you verify. More times than not, a second opinion is all it's necessary to just hear your story and know that something's not right. Some good stuff going on in the OPD. Last week we did a car seat installation day. We were able to install 18 new car seats in new cars. And most importantly, we're thankful for the partnership around the village. That really was a village-wide event with the police department, the fire department, the ambulance corps, and DPW, where we have Touch a Truck, where the children are able to check out all of the emergency vehicles and municipal workers while their parents are having car seats installed, thereby making everybody safe, giving the kids something fun to do. Currently undergoing second half firearms qualifications, which includes work with patrol rifle and less lethal shotgun. So that's exciting stuff going on until the group gets there tomorrow and finds out they're shooting in the rain. Congratulations are in order for Officer Farrell. She last week received the Enrique Camarena Award from the National Elks Lodge. That is a nationwide award for police officers that have spent years in dedication to drug enforcement and or youth education with an eye towards prevention. Officer Farrell has been a DARE instructor for us for many, many years and has really been fond of her work with the schools. She really enjoys that kind of thing. She really has done a service for this community, and that's some of the stuff that doesn't always go noticed is the quiet stuff that happens with our kids that's more preventative. There's no arrest to be made when you keep the crime from happening in the first place. So that, to my knowledge, is the first person anywhere around here that's won that award at the national level. Definitely the first one in Ossining, and I believe the first female to win it ever. So really great stuff for Officer Farrell. A couple of other events coming up. October 20th, we have the Ossining PVA 5K. So keep an eye out for that. We're looking at some of the logistics and may have to move the route, but it should be good nonetheless. And we have confirmed that October 31st, we will have Trunk or Treat on Main Street. I know that Officer Hershowitz is working with Bill Garrison from Parks and Recreation to make sure that happens. And again, that's another event that includes Parks and Recreation, the fire department, OVAC, just about everybody in Ossining comes together. And it's a really incredible event. Last, I'm sort of included in this one, and it's not for my own good that I say this. I've been known to subject myself to some unreasonable physical challenges in the past, but more importantly, Officer Hershowitz went with me last week to Cambridge, Maryland, where she completed an Ironman. That is a 2.4-mile swim, a 112-mile bike ride, and then a marathon. It takes somewhere between 14 and 16 hours to finish that of nonstop work. I know that she is the second police officer in Ossining to finish one of those by 1 hour. But I believe that she's one of the first people in Westchester law enforcement to do that. I'm fairly certain she's the first female, might be the first female police officer to do that in all of New York State. We're still looking to see if anybody else can come up with somebody that can beat us. But you know, she's an officer that dedicates an awful lot to our community here. And one of the things that we're really passionate about in this police department is our responsibility to the community, which includes staying fit if we're going to be tasked with protecting people. So that is a major, major accomplishment. So very proud to share that with the board, and glad that she was able to finish that. Thank you.
And Chief, I just want to clarify, the other person who did it was you, right?
That's why she's second in Ossining to finish one of those.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that for your
She beat me in the swim.
humble assessment of that. Congratulations to both yourself and to Officer.
She beat me in the swim.
All right. And I just want to clarify for anyone at home who is a parent of, I guess not even just young children, but children who were ever young and got to know Officer Farrell. She's also known as Officer Shelley. She just named herself as Officer Shelley, and that's who most every child in the Ossining School Districts will know her as. So congratulations to Officer Shelley. Madam Clerk.
Is there anyone here who wishes to make an organization announcement?
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for your service. My name is Steve Deere, Ossining Landlord Tenant Relations Council. We want to remind everybody that the last Tuesday of this month, October 29th at 7 p.m. at the Ossining Library, the Bedars Theater, the big theater, we're going to be doing a presentation as to what the Landlord Tenant Relations Council can do for you as a tenant, a landlord, or even if you're a neighbor to a building that has tenants and landlords, or if you're thinking about becoming a landlord or maybe moving into an apartment building and you want some information. We've been very active this last month with a bunch of folks calling. We appreciate that. We want to remind folks that we cannot offer legal advice, but we can certainly help out those in need. Also going to discuss, if you do not know, some of the newest changes in the landlord-tenant law that took effect in June of this year. Very important. Some minor little things that happen, but it can affect your situation as a landlord or a tenant, and it's already been effective here in this courtroom on Thursday nights throughout Ossining. So we're going to discuss what matters for the new laws that change and affects us here in Ossining. So again, October 29th, that's Tuesday night at 7 p.m. at the Bedars Theater at the Ossining Public Library. Thank you very much.
I look forward to being there. Thank you.
Is there anyone?
Hi, I just want to quickly invite the community to come down to the waterfront on October 19th for the Big Oss Barbecue. It's going to be at Henry Gordine Park from noon to 6 p.m. It's going to be a really wholesome and fun community event. The focus is open flame cooking, featuring restaurants based in Ossining. There's also going to be craft beverages made right here in Ossining, live music with musicians from Ossining or that live here now, and also lots of entertainment. So it's going to be really fun, and I hope everyone can come down. It's, again, October 19th at Henry Gordine Park, Big Oss Barbecue.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to village board resolutions. Is there anyone here who wishes to address the board on any of the resolutions this evening? Okay. Moving on to approval of minutes, September 18th, 2019. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby approves the minutes of the September 18th, 2019 regular meeting as presented. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Comments on the board? Madam Clerk.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of minutes, September 25th, 2019. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby approves the minutes of the September 25th, 2019 special meeting as presented. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Comments on the board? Madam Clerk.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Approval of voucher detail October 2nd, 2019. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby approves the voucher detail report dated October 2nd, 2019 in the amount of $432,317.61. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Comments on the board? Madam Clerk.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution appointing Catherine Kishby to the Village of Ossining Board of Ethics. Resolved that Catherine Kishby is appointed as a member of the Village of Ossining Board of Ethics for a term expiring on December 31st, 2022. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Comments on the board?
We interviewed candidates. We have some candidates, and I think Catherine's going to be a great addition to the group. She is a non-lawyer. Some of the people are lawyers. This is a committee that actually has both lawyers and non-lawyers on it. Makes for, I guess, a very nice representation of the community. And we're looking forward to it. Right now, I understand from the board that they've not received much work. It's one of the boards, however, that isn't so upset when they don't receive a lot of work on their end. So, it'll be nice to have her here. And I think you staggered some of the dates, right, Stuart, for this?
With the next folks, because we have 3 who are in
Yeah.
20, we're going to stagger
We're
those
gonna need to
terms so
stagger
that we
them.
don't have everybody expiring at the same
Same
time.
time.
And we're really pleased to have Catherine stepping into this role, assuming that all are supportive, which I think. Catherine has served in a role on behalf of the village last year. She represented us. What was the official title?
Yeah, I don't remember.
CDAG.
CDAG, which it was our Ossining representative among the communities that
I know
were
what it stands for.
participating in the county CDBG funding, and so
She still holds that role.
she still holds that role. How long
Right.
is that indefinite?
I believe it's 3 years.
Oh my, okay.
Wow.
We don't usually have people
they meet
assigned to more than one
regularly.
thing. That's sort of a weird
Except
one,
that
though.
that's,
That's not a
not really
regular
us.
committee. Yeah. So anyway, so we're glad that she's taking on this additional hat for us. Madam Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
DPW award of bid HVAC upgrades to police court facility. Resolved that subject to review by Corporation Council, the Board of Trustees hereby awards the bid for contract number DPW-19-01 HVAC upgrades police court facility to Carey and Walsh Inc., 595 North State Road, Briarcliff Manor, New York, 10510 for the bid amount of $2,800. Hold on, I'm so sorry. $282,000 plus a village specified $10,000 allowance item for temporary heat during construction for a total bid amount of $292,000 as the lowest bid received from a responsive and responsible bidder. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Comments on the board? Madam Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Authorization to advertise for bids. Sing Sing Prison Museum Powerhouse Exterior Restoration and Preview Center. Resolved that subject to review by Corporation Council, the village clerk is authorized to advertise for bids for the Sing Sing Prison Museum Powerhouse Exterior Restoration and Preview Center. Such bids to be returnable to the village clerk. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Comments on the board? I'll just say we have a few of these coming up that are related to the Sing Sing Prison Museum. We had a visit last week from Brent Glass, who is the interim executive director of the Sing Sing Prison Museum project. And so we're not going to reiterate all of that presentation, but we encourage folks, if they are interested in learning more about it, you can always go to the Sing Sing Prison Museum website itself. But in our meeting last week, it was the first topic of our work session discussion last week, and it was gives you a little more background on where we actually have 3 resolutions that were born out of that conversation.
I also want to add, just for the public, that Sing Sing Museum, the folks are happy to give tours of Sing Sing. You can make reservations with it, go on the website. We had somebody go on recently from EAC, came up last night, who said it was really, really interesting to see the prison, to see where the plans for the museum is. It's not that you just show up. There's some things you have to do, and there are sometimes wait lists and stuff. But I think if you live in this community, and it's a big part of our community, I have not had a chance to do it. My husband has, and it's really well worth doing.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Resolution authorizing the Village of Ossining to sign a lease agreement with the State of New York through the Commissioner of the New York State Office of General Services for the Powerhouse Building, currently under the jurisdiction of the New York State Department of Corrections and Community Supervision. Resolved that following review by the Corporation Council, the appropriate village official is authorized to sign a lease agreement with the State of New York through the Commissioner of the New York State Office of General Services for the Powerhouse Building, identified on the tax map of the Town of Ossining, Section 97.10, Block 1, Lot 4, and further identified on the key plot plan of the Sing Sing Correctional Facility dated June 24, 2004, as Building Number 6, Old Powerhouse Storage, which building is currently under the jurisdiction of the New York State Department of Corrections and Community Supervision. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Comments on the board? Madam Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Resolution amending the capital project budget in furtherance of the Sing Sing Prison Museum project. Whereas by resolution dated September 6, 2017, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Austining established a capital project in the amount of $1 million in order to account for a SAM grant number 170312, that the village was awarded in the amount of $1 million to be used for preservation and rehabilitation costs of the 1936 powerhouse. And whereas the village was awarded a second SAM grant number 150281, and the amount of $1,375,000, and a redirected grant from the Empire State Development ESD grant number AB 439 in the amount of $500,000, both of which are to be used for preservation and rehabilitation costs of the 1936 powerhouse. And whereas at this time the village wishes to amend the aforementioned capital project to allow for the accounting of two additional reference grants, granting $1,875,000 to a total of $2,875,000 for the three grants. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Austining amends the following capital project to provide the necessary program appropriations and to account for project expenditures and grant revenues associated with these three grants. State grants as indicated below, and be it further resolved, the separate accounting for the individual and New York State grants and related expenditures shall be accomplished by use of separate revenue accounts for each grant as indicated below, with the first SAM grant assigned as an account number 005-030.3089.2190 and named State Aid SAM grant number 170312 for SSCF Powerhouse Project. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Comments on the board? Madam Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Moving along, is there continuing business of the board?
No, ma'am.
Is there new business of the board?
Not at this time.
Okay. Is there anyone here in the public who wishes to address the board?
Welcome. Oh, just wanted to say hi. Happy to have you here. Thank you.
Okay, so may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting for executive session?
Yes, and we are doing it for matters of personnel related to specific persons, matters of collective bargaining. Anything else?
I think that's it for now.
No litigation, no real property. Just that those are things that have come up of late.
We can include real property for the time being.
Okay. Better to include it and not discuss it than to not include it and wish to discuss it. So,
Correct.
did we have a motion for all that?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. With that, I say thank you very much. This meeting is adjourned to executive session. We will see you next week at our regular location for our work session, 16 Croton Avenue.
Mayor, it's the
Nope.
10th. next week.
Ooh, that's right. Thank you. It's next Thursday, the 10th, as in honor of folks who are observing Yom Kippur. This meeting is adjourned. See you next week.